And recording. Welcome to episode 100 of the Heart Healthy Hustle Show. I'm your host, Jonathan Frederick.
What are you getting after? What seeds are you planting? What are you overcoming? Think big. Think even bigger. Take some risks. God's got your back. Go for it. Don't hold back. Don't ever have regrets in your life. Go fail. Go grow from those things. Live your life.
Your identity is not defined by your successes or your failures.
If you're not happy where you're at, you won't be happy where you're going. Choose to do the things that will make you the person you want to be, that will make you a better person next week and next year.
You're going to have to leave some things you're actually good at behind so that you can find what you're wired for, what you're born for.
Being a world-class entrepreneur is being in every area of life excellent.
It is the little things that are so easy not to do.
The best thing that you can do is assume the best in people.
I want people around the world to believe they can do something great with their life.
If I build the biggest business, but I destroy my physical body and I lose my health, I don't think that's success. While you're on the journey climbing to success, never forget the things that matter most.
If you like this episode, be sure to hit the subscribe button. Welcome to episode 100 of the Heart Healthy Hustle Show. I'm your host, Jonathan Frederick. This episode is a special 100 episode, solo episode, reflecting on the last year and everything about this show up until this point. As I record this, I sincerely want to tell you that a large part of why my life has changed so much over the last year is this podcast. Not just interviewing and learning from the guests I've brought on the show and realizing that I have what it takes to produce a world-class show with a tremendous production quality and grow it month after month after month with the help of the audience. I also want to make sure I approach recording this episode for you, the listener, and not as a self-centered reflection over the last year, so that you gain benefits from listening to this. 100. Wow. And to me, here's the thing, right? Like 100 is a big number. It's triple digits. It's reflective of consistency, drive, determination, and faith that this is a long-term play for me, and I'm okay with that. In 2018, I realized the importance of playing the long game pre-launch, which is a huge advantage. Most people who start a podcast, business, a project, most will not continue past when it feels fun anymore. This show, I can honestly say, still feels fun, new, fresh, and exciting for me. From the guests I get to speak with and connect with, the friendships and the networking that I get to relish in, but the opportunities that it's created for me, not just in and of itself, but what doing it has shown me is possible. Even now, I look at it like I'm feeling older. And I understand that I am still young in the grand scheme of things if I do end up having a longer life. However, I also recognize that time is of the essence. It's the most valuable asset, and that though I'm going to push as hard as I can to powerfully move towards my destination or the destination set out before me, I'm also going to enjoy the process, the journey, the ride. Recording this episode really means a lot. To me, I hope it means a lot to you as the listener. I shared when I launched this show that I'm not going to quit. I'm not going to miss a week. And we haven't, guys. We stayed consistent every single week since June 4th of 2018. Not only did we stay consistent with Monday interview releases, but we also started publishing Friday solo episodes in addition to the Monday episodes. And those have been going strong since I started launching those. Couldn't have done it without you guys. I have a box under my desk here that I call my box of gratitude, so that when I would hit a dip, when things got tough, when it was hard, when I was tired, when I had to say no to going to events and hanging out with people, I could look at that box and look at the notes that you guys have sent me. I can look at the highlights of the show growth. I can look at what it's doing for you, the listener. It's beyond humbling. It literally floors me, because I'm just a regular dude. I'm a regular person. My point in saying that is, even with this podcast and what it has achieved up until now, with consistency and with belief and with the help of the audience, people might say, well, I couldn't do that, or I wouldn't even, they may say I couldn't do that. But the fact is, I'm a regular guy. You know what really did it for me was seeing that it is possible if you stick with it. This is literally just the start. Guys, we're getting over 2,000 streams per month. Last month was the highest downloaded rates per month, and it's been growing month after month for the last 5 months straight, significantly. When I look at February, we were over 1,000 downloads in the month. March, over 1,600 streams. April, over 2,000. And in May, we're on track to break that again. And we're soon on track to hit the goals for the download numbers. It's not just about the numbers and the growth, but it's also about taking it to the next level. It's about growing the show. It's about reaching more people who need this. To give you a refresher on what this show will continue to do, I'm going to continue focusing in on people who are living their lives entrepreneurially, who are living full out, who are living wide open. I find it very important to find validated guests with a strong track record of a strong business, strong work ethic, and strong moral values, myself included. I would describe myself as an ambitious young professional. I'm 27 years old at this point. I've talked with multiple mentors this past year, and I believe that the next chapter of my life is where things are going to take off like a rocket ship, and I'm very excited for that. And I feel that this show has done a lot to catalyze that process and to bring me to that next season. And I am doing the show not only for that, but also for the hope that it would benefit others in the same way. What I stand for goes without saying. My faith is everything to me. And I stand for hope, faith, love, abundance. I stand for connection. I stand for fighting against lies. I stand for fighting against injustice. I stand for working towards helping others. I stand for giving a hand up. I also stand for living wide open. The belief that if you implement consistency, strategy, and time, you will win long term. I stand for that because I've seen it happen in my own life over and over again. Things I like drinking a lot of water each day. I'm an old soul. I'm a very old soul. There's some other people in the podcasting space who talk about this where they really enjoy nights in. They enjoy the hot cup of coffee on Saturday morning and just reflecting and looking out the window, taking things pretty slow. But I'm also a very fast-paced individual at times. So to avoid burnout, I recognize the importance of learning from others, learning from health experts, not only health experts, but entrepreneurs who are also healthy comprehensively, recognizing that I can learn something new from everyone I come across. I believe you can do anything you set your mind to. I believe people hold themselves back in self-constructed boxes of this subconscious shame or doubt. I believe so many live within that, and I love seeing those fake constructs completely obliterated, and I love seeing people thrive and strive for their dream. I love seeing people get closer to their dream. So what this podcast does, it's not just a source of information, and my goal is I'm a friend to you as you navigate the turbulent decade of your 20s. And whatever chapter or season you are in your life, I welcome everyone to listen to the show. I don't want to alienate anybody, but for myself, I feel that the easiest rapport to build is with those who are in the same season as I am. I love being transparent, telling the plain truth about myself, and I think by connecting at a personal level with all different types of renowned guests, including you, the listener, the show can reveal to other proactive professionals and entrepreneurially minded people more of what's possible for your life and your career. So if you're considered driven by your family, your friends, your coworkers, and you're committed to becoming the best version of yourself and optimizing everything and then exponentially growing and learning how to work hard at what you're doing with heart and with maintained high levels of health during that journey, then this show is for you. This past year has taught me to just do it. One of the most valuable lessons I learned over this past year building up to 100 episodes is to just do it. That you accept in advance the work that's going to be required consistently. And when you do that, decision broken down into its true meaning means you are cutting away. So you are cutting away of things that you aren't going to do because when you decide, it's already been done. So what you're cutting away, the way I look at it, is the fat of anxiety, is the waste of anxiety that you don't need. When you look at something like how can you stay consistent with a project, with editing, with all this different stuff, the fact of the matter is it is exponential momentum. It is my job. I told people I was going to do something, so I have to show up. I have to do it. The second most important lesson I believe I've learned in the past year from this podcast show has been to show up, to step up, to show up for others, to show up consistently, to show up as my best, and to do it with joy. To recognize that it is my turn now, and not in a selfish, line-cutting, it's my turn type of way, but to understand the responsibility of seeing your turn and not letting it pass by with indecision. The single most important thing that I learned over the last year is this: decide. Decide. Just do it. If you're going to do something, do it. If you want to build a business, do it. The successful people do it. The people who want to be in shape, get in shape. The people who want to build a successful business, do it. The people who want to become a renowned speaker, do it. They do it and they do it and they do it. I had to be honest with myself. Where in my life, and to this day, it's a constant fight. It's a juggling act, right? It's constantly this trying to balance comprehensive health. Your physical health might be on point. Your financial health might be on point. Your relational health might be on point, but your spiritual health is lacking, and maybe it's because you're running low on time. So you learn to better courageously juggle these things to try to hit a resonant frequency. And there will be seasons in your life of massive harvest and massive, beautiful seasons where you are hitting that resonant frequency and everything is humming along. And then there will be other seasons where it feels like a giant threw a couch at you and it knocks you back into the ground. Like, life is hard. It's just about doing it. A big thing that helps me to stay physically in shape, to stay physically well, I've been applying this to my life in other areas, has been replacing. Replace the unproductive with the productive. Realize it is your turn now. So going back to that your turn thing, what I mean by that is, it is your turn now. So that doesn't mean it's not someone else's turn. It does mean it's our responsibility to step up, to be the person. This is the day. This is it. It's not tomorrow. It's not next year. Don't let fear keep you down, keep you back. Don't let emotional baggage keep you back anymore. Throw it all off and get going. This is it. I didn't record this to be a motivational speech, so let me get back on track. When I started the show, I was strongly focused on business owners, entrepreneurs, and I still am. I've transitioned it into more of a show for entrepreneurs and entrepreneurially minded people. Maybe you are working a job full-time right now, but you're calculating how long this season will last and you're saving money on the side so that you can be in a strong runway place for when you decide to launch your business or make that investment into real estate, become financially independent. And then why do I think the way I do? If you've been listening to this show from day one, the reason I think the way that I do is because of my faith, is because of seeing regret in people's eyes. It's because of mistakes I've made in my own life that have taught me invaluable lessons that can only be taught through experience, or maybe I should say felt through experience. And I've gone through my personal life, in my life in general, has forged me into a person of courage and a person who's willing to accept the moral obligation to be the best man that I can be, and to view that as an ethical duty. Not everyone's going to agree with that for their life. That's none of my business. A lot of us go through seasons of life where, have you ever felt like you're not doing what you're made for, or you don't feel like you're doing what you're made for in your gut? You have this restlessness. You have what I believe is you want to live completely free of any bondage. I believe in that. And I believe that that's a largely spiritual process. I don't believe that that's just something you wake up one day and it's done. I think it's a constant process throughout life. A lot of the reason is I've seen enough in my life to get to where I am now. Things that used to make me angry. I've watched entrepreneurs who work their whole life as entrepreneurs technically lose because they're so swamped, or they're just unhappy because it's so hard. I've watched other entrepreneurs find ways to somehow mitigate that obnoxious part of entrepreneurship, endless work, and have found ways to create tax-free businesses, or just ways to mitigate the obnoxious part of entrepreneurship. What entrepreneurs are really about is freedom, right? Being able to make your own decisions and execute on your own schedule the way you want to do it and get it done, and just relish in that feeling of accomplishment. And when a job is done, how good it feels. For myself, I was itching to start this podcast for the challenge. I was never going to put myself out there, though, as intentionally and consistently as I have, so the fear was there. And I will say this, once I started doing it and improved my skill set around interviewing, podcasting, editing, it changed everything. Genuinely, doing this show has shown me that I was created for more, and that it's not only my job to pursue that to the max of my capacity, but to also bring others along with me to the max of my ability. And how that works and how that's going to turn out in the future, I'm not so sure. I don't really know. There's a lot of uncertainty. There's a lot of faith. But I genuinely believe that, and I genuinely think that way. I can remember sitting in San Francisco, California, at these tidal waterfalls, which were like 60 feet high, which tidal waterfalls, think of a sand cliff at the beach and the water falls from the cliff into the ocean. Just absolutely breathtaking. And I remember sitting more inland with a friend of mine, and I explained this before, maybe not, but I remember sitting with my friend who's now gone just 2 years ago in 2017, guys. 2017. He's younger than me. He's gone now. He has passed away. Do you know what it feels like to wish that you could go back and say more or do more for someone who's gone? Do not, please do not live your life with any regrets. There's no point to it. You're never going to make everybody else happy anyway. Never. When you do things to make one set of people happy, the other set will be dissatisfied. You got to stop doing things for other people's approval. It's a loss. What happens is, and the process that I recognize in the weeding out of people who are not truly supportive or truly even care about you for that matter, is, yeah, everyone's skeptical at first, especially if this is your first time stepping out, putting yourself out there. What happens over time is that people start to say, hey, wait a minute, this kid's not stopping. And then it becomes, okay, let's continue to ignore him, or let's say something rude to him in person, or comment something rude, or show disapproval or dissatisfaction just to kind of poke him and test him and see if it's actually going to stop him. And then they recognize that you're literally blind to them, and you actually couldn't care less. You don't care zero at all, because you have the greater vision in mind, and you recognize you don't have time to even acknowledge that. So there is no detraction. And then it becomes a frustration. And then people who are watching recognize that they were wrong, that they didn't even give you a chance, and that maybe they should. And then they start to show some support. And then after they start showing you some support, then they really become a fan maybe and say, I knew you'd be successful all along. Because you know what people hate? We hate to be wrong. We need to be right. It's like this prideful thing that people have. All that to say is, do not live with regrets and just go all out. Live wide open, full throttle. Just go for it. And again, I could be wrong about some of that process, but that's just what I've witnessed in my personal life, okay? Another incredibly valuable lesson that I have learned over the course of the last year of doing this podcast has been the increase in my own ability to live with humility, in terms of really being congruent with, okay, I say I'm a student of life, well then go be a student. Learn from everyone and anyone, no matter if they're older than you, younger than you, less tenured than you. Like, every single person we meet is an expert at something we know nothing about. That is so easy to say if you read books and you're into personal growth and all this stuff. It's oh yeah, I'm a student of life. So what I learned this year was how to actually go do that. Go seek out mentors and say, I need help. Will you help me? Because here's the thing that I'm recognizing with my podcast is I have way more desire to go out of my way to help somebody who asks me for help and acknowledges, hey, I actually need your help. Can you help me with this? Absolutely. I'll be happy to help you. Yeah, I hope this show would help anybody who listens to it. I hope anything that I would ever do would help others. However, I'm going to be partial to help people who are actually humble enough to ask for it. So you may say I'm a student of life, But if you find you only listen to people who are at the tippy-tip top of whatever field you're in, and you don't take advice from others around you, being a student of life and actually going out and seeking that help from people, seeking the mentors, seeking advice from people, maybe they're your peers who are ahead of you, doing things you want to do. Instead of being envious of peers, always ask, how can I get there? If that's something we want and we desire, instead of being envious, what you want to do is you want to go find a list of action steps, put it together, and start doing it. What happened is I became way more willing to be a student of life, to seek out help, to ask for help, to do it, to go do the thing, to go to the conference, to go seek mentors, to go ask the questions that I really want the answers to. And what happens is amazing. People are willing to help. People are happy to help. So don't think you're detracting from someone else by seeking wisdom from their experiences or asking them to give you advice. So again, this is episode 100 of the Heart Healthy Hustle Show. A couple upcoming changes. You may notice a couple upcoming changes to the show. I'm not going to tell you exactly what they are, but you will probably be able to tell as you listen. I want to start implementing affiliates and sponsorships. We're almost to the download numbers required to reach out to affiliates and sponsorships. We could now, in terms of download per month. At that point, we will be implementing some affiliates, some sponsorships. I'm still committed to top quality production and something that will be fun to listen to. I can't say thank you enough for listening to this show. It's actually blown me away, the support that people give. I genuinely want to see other people do fantastic in their life. I genuinely want to see people thrive in their careers and businesses. I genuinely want to help with that. I want to do that this podcast is me living life the way I want to live it. And that is finding information from people who've gone ahead of me and having personal conversations with them. And I feel that by being a conduit to you, the listener, and publishing this show out there and asking questions that you will probably be thinking about as well, that I am helping in that way. By doing this show, I'm scratching my own itch. And then by publishing it, that is how I'm seeing this show being of service. My gratitude to you, the listener, to you, the supporter. So many names are crossing through my mind right now. Wow. I could thank you all. I want to give you all a huge Jonathan hug and just say thank you. You guys really don't know how humbling it is. I'm not stopping. I'm not slowing down. I have so many stories from doing this. And remember again, you can do and should go for your dreams. The process of going for that changes you. I do believe that by going for them, you can learn a lot. You will learn a lot about yourself, about others, about life. I thank you for going on this journey, on this process. This is literally just the first step. This is the intro. Keep striving, keep thriving, be generous on every occasion, and live wide open. This is episode 100 of the Heart Healthy Hustle Show. Thank you. Yeah. Congratulations on making it to the end of this episode. What about this episode stood out to you? Next, I need your help sharing this show. I want this podcast to impact and reach 6,000 people per episode by August 31st, 2019. And I want us to reach 15,000 people per month by March 29th, 2020. Have you been enjoying multiple episodes of the Heart Healthy Hustle? I'm thrilled to share with you an exclusive invitation to join our new Facebook community. To get to know other Heart Healthy Hustlers, simply go to thehearthealthyhustle.com/Facebook, where you can expect to see different members of our community being featured weekly in Facebook Live calls. I appreciate all of your love and support, and I will see you in the next episode. As always, be generous on every occasion, there is a story for you, and live wide open.